Well, so what's new? That zucchini keeps getting bigger and bigger. The other one's kind of small. I'm gonna pick that one today. Hopefully the other one will start growing. The rest of these watermelons haven't come up. It's just that one. This one is not blooming yet. I really super extra watered these containers, and I also ordered, these are 10-gallon size apparently, so I ordered 10-gallon plastic pots, and I'll probably just end up sliding these into them and hoping that the fabric doesn't wick the water around, and it just helps the desiccation from the outside stop. Who knows, I might try to transplant. I kind of don't want to mid-season though, but well, I guess it'll depend on if I think the plants are going to die or not. So I put Swiss chard in these, and then a couple other southern greens in those that are pretty much dead. Maybe I'll try to transplant potatoes and sweet potatoes. I'm not sure. Sorry about the planes. Pumpkins are dropping pumpkins everywhere. Tomatoes are setting fruit everywhere. So are the cucumbers. Strawberries are blooming again. I got a couple strawberries off of them the other day. It's happening. Gourds have 1 or 2 fruits on them. I don't know if they're loofahs or something else. It's kind of, well, it's 9 a.m. so it's still a little bit early, but it's definitely hazy today, so the pumpkin blooms are still open. Look at all the tiny baby cucumbers in there. I don't know if you can see those. Beans are doing their thing. It's getting hard to walk around, sort of like last year. Okra is fighting through this one very dense spot. Corn is setting. I've got some melons fighting to get fruit too. Gotta rearrange the pumpkins every once in a while, you know, because they're so out of hand. Let go. Let me rearrange you. Okay, because there's a little melon in here, and I think it tried to set a fruit too already. Because one of them over here has a fruit. Where is it? Right there. So when I went through and really watered everything really hard a couple nights ago, I think I'm going to do that again tonight because it was supposed to rain tomorrow, but now the forecast is moved again, so I think tonight I'll water a lot. My one tomatillo is blooming, but you know the problem with that, right? So I panic ordered 2 more of the purple kind online, live plants, like a foot tall, blooming, to plant out here, because I don't know if they can cross-pollinate with ground cherries. Look at that bumblebee. So I don't know if they can cross-pollinate with ground cherries, so I just got a couple more so they'd actually set fruit. It's such a shame. I wish I was getting tomatillos already out of it, but ooh, I should pick off this harlequin bug. Ew. Maybe it was still soft and I squished it. That's okay. Goals achieved anyway. I've got lots of pear tomatoes because I had lots of pear tomatoes last year, so that's a lot of my volunteers. I'm not sad about it. A lot of these volunteers that I thought were butternut squash, so they don't have the striped leaves that I'm expecting. So when this one came up with the striped leaves, I thought to myself, okay, that's what I'm expecting out of butternut squash, so what's this? So maybe just have a ton of pumpkins and maybe I'm okay with that, even though the leaves are kind of small, so I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's just a nice hybrid, you know. because those flowers, the ruffly ones, is what I'm expecting out of butternut squash. I keep having more passion fruit blooms. This one, I don't know if the female part's open later or what, but that one's just all pollen, which is interesting. What such interesting bugs. So that one only has one bloom right now. Sometimes this opens up one. And this one that I tagged one over here too. Where is it? Right here. This one. See it? So hopefully it sets fruit, and it's a cross-pollinated one, and I've made a North and South American hybrid, and I can toss those seeds around the garden and get something interesting out of it for next year. What else? Oh, pitcher plants and everybody is doing okay. Oh, I was gonna bring out a jug of water for this. Yeah, I need to water those today if it's not gonna rain. Ooh, a female bloom. I should bring out a jug of water and my paintbrush just to make sure. I don't think that's water. I think that's nectar. Interesting. So I had to move this mat because somebody decided to drop a pumpkin where it was growing. So I've got all sorts of good pumpkins around. Hopefully they ripen. They really should. So I think I'm gonna have 3 or 4 pumpkins at least, which is good. They're all good for eating and they're decorative. Look at all my nice butterflies. I'll move this pumpkin later so I don't disturb him if he's having a little siesta. And that sunflower. The fence around my garden is like 6 or 7 feet, so I'm pretty sure this is gonna be some like nice 12-foot sunflower. Ooh, do you see the sparrow? They come and pick at bugs exactly like I wanted, which is nice. One of the neighbors had asked me actually, hey, why did you pull up that net finally? Because I wanted the birds to come pick at the bugs. So, it's working. These sundews, I don't know why they're not happy. Maybe it just got too hot for them or something. It was really hot and then kind of cool for a while. It's in the 60s again at night, which is kind of ridiculous for end of July. Let me just squish this guy. That's how you get, what's it called? Wilt spread around. They spread around wilt. Pitchers are doing good, the ones that did survive. I harvested all of my Venus flytrap seeds and put them in the pot from where I had the seedlings die last winter. And I'm gonna put it in the fridge till maybe December. And then, well, maybe a little bit sooner I'll pull it out and then put it in the plant room and then just keep them inside probably for like 3 years instead of 1.5 years. I don't know what I did wrong. The full grown size ones out here did okay. Those seedlings just completely died overnight. See this sort of flower? Kind of roughly like a gourd. That's what I'm expecting out of butternut squash. The peas are nearly done. A lot of them look dead, probably from the heat wave. I thought about planting some asparagus beans, you know, those longer beans that you pick when they're maybe a couple days old and use them sort of like asparagus. But then I have tomatoes growing in the middle of that, and based on how big my tomatoes got last year, maybe I'll just let them take over this trellis, and it worked out perfectly to have peas early in the season and then have tomatoes take over later. Oh, and I don't know if you can see the one in there, it's a volunteer, so I guess it's a cherry tomato from a couple that fell last year. So I'm excited that I have pears and cherries growing in here. Okay, I need to remember that. Paintbrush and bring a jug of water out. I put Johnny Jump Up seeds all over the bare dirt here, even though I'm pretty sure it'll get shaded out by these beans once they really get going later, right? And then maybe the basil if it bushes out. But I like having all of my dirt covered with something, so that's that. A couple of these tomatoes, oh, I guess it's a pear tomato too. And that one is also pear. You know, they're good for making sauces out of because they're less juicy and more meaty, so that's okay. I kind of wish I had planted the black cherry seedlings, because those were really good. I have the one volunteer coming up out of the mulch that looks good of that kind this year. Ooh, these marigolds finally opened up. But I don't know if they'll fruit because they look kind of bad, and while I was panic buying a tomatillo, I just panic bought some more seeds for last year because I already have more than I can even plant in my garden anyway, but oops. So I got some like banana melon and that Swiss chard and the asparagus beans, and then I got a couple of I think it's called atomic grape tomato. I had tried it before in San Diego a bunch of years ago and it didn't work out because I really didn't have the sunshine exposure on my balcony, but I want to try them again here. And I don't know, if I'm gonna have lots of pear tomato seedlings all the time, maybe I'll get a good hybrid going, you know? Some of the best tomatoes we had when I was growing up were from hybrids of a bunch of tomatoes that we had, and we just ended up saving them year after year, and they were really, really tasty. So, acorn and butternut squash is here. I saw some bees working that yesterday, but I went through and pollinated by hand while the bees were in there just to make sure. Some of my ground strawberries. I think the strawberry that's hiding in that grass just blooms once a year, but then this one and that one is one of the ones that blooms a couple of times, and the strawberries are spreading too. I'm glad because this one's tasty and that one's not tasty and just kind of big. I guess it's like the grocery store strawberries, big and no flavor. Little scallop squashes are growing in. What else? These strawberries are blooming again. I think a lot of these are the white ones, so maybe I can actually catch them this time before the slugs eat them all. I was thinking last night I might rip up a lot of this stuff here, and well, actually, because I cut back that mustard and tied up the oregano. Look at all those happy bees. I might just put the tomatillos in here. See my parsley? You can finally see my parsley. So I might put one of the tomatillos here where the mustard was, and then maybe another one over there so that the bees don't have too far to fly to pollinate everything. Ooh, another harlequin beetle. Come on. Do not want my disgusting jar of bugs. I keep stepping on this pumpkin. I feel so bad. Maybe once it finally crosses the path, I'll be more aware of it. Maybe that's it. That's new.